If you feel lost, overwhelmed, or like you're constantly chasing something just out of reach, stop. Right now, you're about to discover a simple, profound truth that will completely shift your perspective and change everything. Don't click away, because the final insight I'm sharing at the end of this video is the most powerful key to unlocking true peace and mastery. Inner stillness. In our modern world, we are constantly bombarded, aren't we? Notifications ping, demands pull at our attention from every direction, and the relentless hum of external expectations can feel deafening. We rush from one task to the next, driven by a pervasive sense that if we just do more, have more, achieve more, then and only then will we finally find that elusive sense of contentment. But I'm here to tell you, from a place of deep understanding, that this pursuit is often an illusion, a chasing of shadows that only leaves us feeling more depleted, more anxious, and further from the very peace we desperately seek. Have you ever noticed how, after achieving something you thought would make you truly happy, that feeling is often fleeting? A brief surge of satisfaction, quickly followed by a new goal, a new aspiration, a new void to fill. It's a cycle, a relentless treadmill, and it's exhausting. We are conditioned to look outwards for solutions, for validation, for worth. We compare ourselves to others, measuring our success against external metrics, and in doing so, we lose touch with the profound wisdom that resides within us. This constant outward gaze disconnects us from our true selves, from the quiet strength that is always present, waiting to be rediscovered. Imagine, for a moment, a tranquil lake. When the winds are calm and there are no disturbances, the surface is like a mirror reflecting the sky, the trees, every detail with perfect clarity. But when a storm rages, when stones are thrown into its depths, the surface becomes turbulent, murky, impossible to see through. Our minds are much the same. When we allow the external world, with all its chaos and demands, to constantly disturb our inner waters, we lose clarity. We cannot see ourselves, our true path, our genuine desires. We become reactive, tossed about by every passing breeze, instead of standing firm, rooted in our own being. The practice of finding inner stillness isn't about escaping the world. It's about cultivating a sanctuary within yourself that remains untouched by the storms outside. It's about learning to quiet the incessant chatter, to observe the thoughts and emotions that arise without getting swept away by them. It's about creating space, a sacred pause where you can simply be. This is not a passive act, it is an act of profound courage and discipline in a world that constantly screams for your attention. It's about reclaiming your power, your presence, and your peace. When we begin to cultivate this inner stillness, something remarkable happens. We start to hear the whispers of our own intuition, the quiet guidance that has always been there beneath the noise. We begin to discern what truly matters to us, separate from what society or others tell us should matter. This clarity is a powerful compass, guiding us towards actions that are aligned with our deepest values and purpose. It's like finding your way back home after a long journey in a foreign land. You recognize the familiar landmarks, the comforting embrace of your own authentic self. The world doesn't become less chaotic, but your response to it changes. You develop a resilience, a centeredness that allows you to navigate challenges with grace and wisdom rather than being overwhelmed. You move from a state of constant reaction to one of thoughtful, intentional response. This shift is not just about feeling better, it's about living better, more authentically, more powerfully. It's about becoming the calm center in your own personal storm. Many people fear stillness. They associate it with emptiness, with boredom, or with confronting uncomfortable truths they've been avoiding. But true stillness is not an absence. It is a profound presence. It is a space where creativity can flourish, where solutions can emerge, and where genuine self-understanding can take root. It is the fertile ground from which all true growth springs. When you stop constantly doing, you create the space to be, and in that being, you discover a wellspring of inner resources you never knew you possessed. This is not about being selfish, it's about being responsible for your own state of being, recognizing that you cannot pour from an empty cup. When you are centered, clear, and at peace, you are far better equipped to contribute to the world, to support those you care about, and to make decisions that are beneficial not only for yourself, but for everyone around you. It's a foundational practice for a life lived with purpose and meaning. This journey inwards is not a one-time event, it is a continuous practice. Just as a gardener tends to their garden regularly, we must regularly tend to our inner landscape. There will be days when the external world feels particularly demanding, when the mind is more turbulent, when it feels harder to find that stillness. This is natural. The key is not to judge these moments, but to observe them with a sense of gentle curiosity and to always return to the practice. Even a few minutes of conscious breathing, a brief period of quiet reflection, or a moment of mindful movement can help to recalibrate and recenter you. It's about building a habit, strengthening a muscle, until that inner sanctuary becomes a natural and accessible place for you, no matter what challenges life presents. This is the path to true self-mastery, not through external conquest, but through internal harmony. Mindful movement. Our bodies are incredible instruments, constantly providing us with feedback. Yet how often do we truly listen? We push them, neglect them, or treat them as mere vehicles for our busy minds, rarely connecting with the profound wisdom they hold. Mindful movement is not just about exercise, it's about reuniting the mind and body, bringing conscious awareness to every breath, every stretch, every sensation. It's about transforming a mundane activity into a powerful practice of presence. Think about how often we move through our days on autopilot, walking, eating, even working, without truly being present in the experience. Our minds are often elsewhere, planning the next thing, replaying the past, or getting lost in a labyrinth of thoughts. This disconnection leaves us feeling fragmented, drained, and often out of sync with our own physical needs and limits. We ignore the subtle signals of fatigue, tension, or discomfort until they scream for our attention in the form of pain or illness. When we engage in mindful movement, whether it's through walking, stretching, or any physical activity, we deliberately bring our attention to the present moment. We feel the ground beneath our feet, the air on our skin, the expansion and contraction of our lungs with each breath. We notice the subtle shifts in our muscles, the way our joints articulate, the flow of energy within us. This is not about perfection of form or achieving a particular physical goal, though those may be natural byproducts. It's about cultivating a deep, intimate relationship with our own physical being. It's about honoring the body as a temple, a vessel for our experience, and treating it with respect and gratitude. This practice helps us to release accumulated tension, not just physically, but mentally and emotionally as well. Stress often manifests as tightness in the shoulders, jaw, or lower back, and by consciously moving and breathing, we can help to unwind these knots of tension. Consider the simple act of walking. How often do you truly feel yourself walking? The rhythm of your steps, the swing of your arms, the slight sway of your torso. When we bring full awareness to this seemingly ordinary act, it transforms into a moving meditation. Each step becomes an opportunity to ground ourselves, to connect with the earth, and to bring our scattered attention back to the present. The same applies to any physical activity, whether you are doing chores, practicing a sport, or engaging in a formal movement practice like Tai Chi or yoga. The intention of mindfulness changes everything. It elevates the activity from mere physical exertion to a holistic practice that nourishes both body and mind. This integration helps to quiet the overactive mind, drawing its focus away from worries and distractions and into the direct, felt experience of the body. It's a powerful antidote to the constant mental chatter that so often plagues us. Furthermore, mindful movement cultivates a deep sense of self-awareness. You become attuned to your body's capabilities and limitations, learning to respect them rather than constantly pushing against them in an unsustainable way. You begin to understand how your emotional state impacts your physical being, how anxiety might manifest as a tight stomach, or how joy might express itself as lightness in your step. This deeper understanding empowers you to respond to your body's needs with greater compassion and wisdom. It moves you away from a punitive approach to exercise, where you push yourself out of guilt or obligation, towards a more intuitive and nurturing relationship with your physical self. This shift is profound, leading to sustainable well-being and a more harmonious existence. You move not just to achieve a result, but to experience movement, to feel alive in your own skin. This practice extends beyond structured exercise. It's about bringing mindfulness to every movement throughout your day. How you sit, how you stand, how you reach for something, how you interact with your environment. It's about embodying presence in every physical act. When you make this shift, your body becomes less of a separate entity and more of an integrated part of your conscious experience. This union of mind and body is a cornerstone of true self-mastery. It allows you to move through life with greater grace, efficiency, and a profound sense of connection to yourself and the world around you. It's a powerful pathway to experiencing the richness of life directly, not just observing it from the confines of your thoughts. Intentional action. Once we begin to cultivate inner stillness and mindful movement, the next natural step is to bring intentionality to our actions. This isn't about rigid control or forcing outcomes. It's about aligning our external efforts with our internal clarity and purpose. Far too often we operate on autopilot, reacting to external stimuli rather than proactively choosing our path. We say yes to commitments out of obligation, chase goals dictated by others, and spend our precious time and energy on things that don't truly resonate with our deepest values. This leads to a feeling of being scattered, overwhelmed, and ultimately unfulfilled, despite how busy we might be. We confuse busyness with productivity and constant motion with meaningful progress. The truth is, without a clear intention, our actions can become like a ship without a rudder, drifting aimlessly, susceptible to every current and wind. Intentional action begins with clarity. What truly matters to you? What kind of life do you want to build? What impact do you wish to have? These are not trivial questions. They are the bedrock of a life lived with purpose. When you take the time to reflect on these questions, without the noise of external expectations, your true priorities begin to emerge. This clarity acts as a filter, allowing you to discern which opportunities to pursue and which to politely decline. It empowers you to say no to things that drain your energy or divert you from your chosen path, freeing up space for what truly nourishes and fulfills you. This isn't about being selfish, it's about being strategic with your most valuable resources: your time, your energy, and your attention. It's about honoring your own journey and making conscious choices that support your well-being and growth. Consider how different your day would feel if every task, every interaction, every decision was approached with a clear intention. Instead of just getting through a meeting, your intention might be to listen deeply and contribute thoughtfully. Instead of just exercising, your intention might be to cultivate strength and presence. This shift in mindset transforms ordinary activities into meaningful acts. It infuses your life with a sense of purpose and direction, making even the smallest tasks feel significant. This doesn't mean you won't encounter challenges or setbacks. Those are an inevitable part of life. But when you face them with intentionality, you approach them as opportunities for learning and growth rather than as insurmountable obstacles. You become an active participant in shaping your reality rather than a passive recipient of circumstances. Taking intentional action also means understanding the power of small, consistent efforts. We often fall into the trap of believing we need grand gestures or immediate dramatic transformations to make a difference. But it is the accumulation of small, deliberate choices made day after day that truly shapes our destiny. Like drops of water eventually carving stone, consistent, intentional actions build momentum and create lasting change. This might mean dedicating a few minutes each morning to quiet reflection, consistently prioritizing your physical well-being, or making a conscious effort to connect authentically with one person each day. These seemingly minor actions, when consistently applied with clear intention, create a powerful ripple effect, subtly shifting your life's trajectory in profound ways. It's about honoring the process, trusting that the seeds you plant with intention will eventually bear fruit. Ultimately, intentional action is about living a life that is truly your own, not one dictated by external pressures or unconscious habits. It's about reclaiming your agency, aligning your inner world with your outer expressions, and moving through life with a sense of purpose and direction. When your actions are congruent with your values and your deepest desires, you experience a profound sense of harmony and fulfillment. The external world doesn't necessarily become easier, but your capacity to navigate it with wisdom, resilience, and grace expands exponentially. This is the art of shaping your life with conscious choice, rather than allowing it to be shaped by default. It's the path to building a life that feels authentic, meaningful, and deeply satisfying. Natural unfolding. Here is the profound paradox. Once you commit to cultivating inner stillness, engaging in mindful movement, and taking intentional action, something incredible begins to happen. You realize that you don't actually need to force things to fall into place. In fact, the very act of trying to force outcomes often creates resistance and delays what you desire. Instead, you begin to experience a natural unfolding, a beautiful synchronicity where opportunities appear, paths become clear, and solutions emerge with an ease that feels almost magical. This isn't about being passive or abdicating responsibility. It's about understanding and trusting in a deeper natural order. It's about recognizing that when you are aligned with your true self, the universe conspires to support you. We spend so much of our lives striving, struggling, pushing against perceived obstacles, believing that monumental effort is the only way to achieve our goals. But often, this relentless pushing comes from a place of fear. A fear that if we don't control every variable, everything will fall apart. However, when you focus on cultivating your inner world, on becoming more present, more aware, more aligned, you fundamentally change your energetic signature. You stop operating from a place of lack or desperate striving and start operating from a place of grounded presence and clear intention. From this place, your actions become more potent, more accurate, and less burdened by anxiety. It's like a skilled archer. They don't force the arrow. They focus on their stance, their breath, the draw of the bowstring, and the release. The arrow then flies true naturally. Similarly, when your inner state is aligned, your external actions become more effective, and the results follow with greater ease. This doesn't mean life suddenly becomes devoid of challenges, but your capacity to meet those challenges shifts dramatically. You no longer feel like you're constantly fighting against the current. Instead, you learn to flow with it, navigating its twists and turns with greater wisdom and less resistance. This natural unfolding is often characterized by a sense of synchronicity. You might meet the right person at the perfect time. An idea you've been pondering suddenly clicks into place, or an unexpected opportunity presents itself precisely when you need it. These aren't random occurrences. They are reflections of your increased clarity and alignment. When your inner compass is calibrated, you are more attuned to these subtle signals and opportunities that might have passed unnoticed before. You begin to see patterns, connections, and possibilities that were previously obscured by the noise of your own overthinking and external distractions. It's like stepping into a clear stream after swimming in murky waters. Suddenly, you can see the bottom, the rocks, the fish, everything with perfect clarity. This doesn't mean life is always easy, but it becomes undeniably richer, more meaningful, and less of a struggle. Trusting in this natural unfolding requires a significant shift in mindset, a letting go of the need for absolute control. It demands a faith that when you do your part, when you focus on your inner state and take intentional action, the external world will respond in kind. This is not a passive waiting game. It is an active engagement with life, but an engagement that flows from a place of peace and alignment rather than anxious striving. It's about becoming a co-creator with life rather than constantly trying to dominate or manipulate it. When you release the grip of control, you create space for solutions and opportunities to present themselves in ways you could never have anticipated or engineered. This surrender is not weakness. It is a profound act of strength and wisdom. It's about understanding that you are part of a larger intelligent system, and when you harmonize with it, things tend to flow. So the ultimate insight, the most powerful key, is this. Stop trying to force everything. Stop looking outside yourself for the answers, for the validation, for the happiness you seek. Turn inwards, cultivate your stillness, move with intention, and then simply observe. Watch as the pieces of your life, once scattered and chaotic, begin to arrange themselves with an elegant precision you never thought possible. Everything truly does fall into place, not because you desperately pushed it there, but because you created the conditions for it to unfold naturally. This is the path to true freedom, genuine peace, and a life lived with effortless grace and profound purpose. Remember, the journey of cultivating inner peace and allowing life to unfold naturally is a continuous one. It's about showing up for yourself day after day with patience and presence. As you deepen your connection to your true self, you'll find an unshakable strength that allows you to navigate any challenge with wisdom and grace. Keep returning to your breath, to your stillness, and to the power of intentional living. This hit different. Seriously, the part about natural unfolding just blew my mind. I've been so focused on forcing things, and it's exhausting. Time to shift gears. Who else feels this?